All right, here we go. Justin Fields traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. My name is Harrison Graham. I am an hour from the studio, so I didn't have time to go in, so I'm going live on my laptop. Let me know if I'm sounding all right. Scale 1 to 10, how does the audio sound? 10 being great, 1 being horrendous. Let me know. Let me know. Oh, you're fine as I just bumped my laptop. All right, looks like it's good enough. Listen, 2025, sixth round pick that can turn into a fourth. Not the return we were hoping for, right? We were hoping for more. I mean, I think it was clear in recent days and weeks you weren't going to get surely not a first or even a second. I was still hopeful maybe a third. Not great value, not great value, but I think this tells you a couple of things. Three instant takeaways that I have. One, the NFL did not value Justin Fields as a starting quarterback. The feelings we have in Chicago and people have in Chicago are much stronger than how the rest of the league felt about him. That's number one. Number two, it is obvious. It has been obvious. I've tried to make it obvious without, putting people down because I don't think that's right. I think there's been way too much of this, that the Bears are taking a quarterback at number one, and that quarterback is likely Caleb Williams. That's my second takeaway. Third takeaway is even though the return isn't great, they didn't want to create that environment where Justin Fields is still hanging around and it's awkward and it's this and it's that. They just wanted to give him a clean slate. And what did Ryan Poles say at the NFL Combine? I want to do right by Justin. Well, sending him to Pittsburgh, a great franchise with only Russell Wilson on the roster, who's making the vet minimum, I'd say that's doing pretty right by him, especially if teams weren't calling the Bears to make Justin a clear starter. I mean, that's if you're Poles, yeah, you probably wanted more value, but at the end of the day, that's about that. In terms of keeping your word of doing right by Justin, a guy who's been the consummate pro, I think that's been accomplished here. We can't flash super chats on screen, but I will read them as they come in. Sam Loctera, a 2025 sixth round pick. Jesus F. Poles botched this one. Well, the Caleb Williams trade it is. Look, did he botch it, or was the value across the league not good? I mean, you could have said they could have just kept him and created that environment, but I don't think they wanted to do that. I'm not going to sit here and say it was an A trade or, some awesome trade. I mean, you didn't get much in return. But I don't think he's turning down second-round picks elsewhere. I don't think the offers were good. I just don't. And that sucks. That sucks to hear as Bears fans, and probably sucks if you're Justin to see, wow, a sixth-round pick next year that at most can become a fourth. That's not the best, man. JD with the 20, been watching since 10K subs. I'm surprised they pulled the trigger before his pro day. Any chance they still trade number one? I mean, guys, there's no chance they trade the number one pick. If anything is clear from this, they're drafting a quarterback one. I would say it's 95% Caleb Williams. And if something comes up in their pro day or in their meeting or something, they felt good enough that they'll draft a different quarterback. Right? Drake May, Jaden Daniels, if something falls apart with Caleb. Caleb Williams, someone with that name in the chat, sends in a $5 super chat. Appreciate that. Emiliano says Caleb Colt wins. Poles had a bad tendency of holding on to players too long. Quinn, Jackson, Robert Quinn, Eddie Jackson, now Fields, all should have been traded at their peak. I don't think they were ever going to get great value for Eddie Jackson. I thought they did pretty good getting a fourth for Robert Quinn. I mean, they could have traded him that offseason, but I don't think you were getting a first or second with that contract. Maybe you get a third instead of a fourth, but, I don't think you would have gotten a huge haul. And then Fields, when was Fields' peak? When should he have traded him, Emiliano? Should he have traded him last offseason? I mean, I guess. Football is a business. Bench him and wait for a team to have an injury worse than the Claypool trade. Well, I don't know if it could get much worse than the Claypool trade. So, look, I'm not going to sit here and celebrate because people are DMing me. You were right. Other people are like, it's not about being right and wrong, man. I just felt confident this is where it was going. I'm not celebrating Justin Fields being gone. I like Justin Fields. I still think he is a starter in this league. I disagree with a lot of the league's assessment. I don't think he's a franchise QB yet. I don't think he's proven that. Maybe he'll never get there. But you can't tell me he can't start for at least a handful of teams. I'd say between 5 and 10 teams, he'd be an upgrade at quarterback. And maybe he gets a chance to compete in Pittsburgh. Who knows? I certainly hope he does. Jordan Schultz tweeting, the Bears will have a sizable outfit at USC's Pro Day on March 20th to see Caleb Williams. After that, they will host him on a top 30 visit, which is crucial when we consider no teams really got to spend time with Williams at the Combine. Chicago will continue to do its due diligence on Drake May and Jaden Daniels. Nothing will be unchecked for Ryan Poles and company, which is kind of what I just said. Caleb's the front runner, but they've got other options there if they decide to go that route. Let's see here. Tom Pelissero tweeting out that a source tells him Russell Wilson is the starter. So, Justin's going to have to probably compete and do well to have a chance to unseat Russ, at least for week 1. Adam Schefter says Justin Fields will be Russell Wilson's backup. So, listen, I said it yesterday. When Kenny Pickett got traded to the Philadelphia Eagles, it opened that door back up for Pittsburgh. We know Mike Tomlin loves Pittsburgh and or loves Justin Fields, and that's what it is, man. That's what it is. Let's see who else we got on super chats here. We got Alex says, why are sports scouters pushing more toward drafting Daniels going 1 over Caleb? I haven't seen much of that. I know Daniel Orlovsky has said recently that, but the heavy favorite consensus across the board is still Caleb Williams. Let's see here. Who's next up? We got Michael Ortman. I'll laugh when he fails the medical. Pittsburgh fleeces Poles again. I will not laugh if he fails the medical, Michael, but if that's what you're going to do, go for it. Bryce says, I hate my life. I get it. It's tough. There's emotions involved. Someone to all the Justin lovers, take that. Maybe you will finally realize no one wanted him. He was below average. Eagles chose Pickett over a 6th for Fields. I don't know if that's completely true, someone. We don't know the specifics of that discussion. And see, I don't like that either. The take that, I was right, you were wrong. That's not my goal. I know a lot of you guys are going to do that. I was right, you were wrong. I don't think that's healthy. I don't think that's right. I'm not about that. Landon Roberts says, I think moving on to Caleb was probably the right move, but God, a 6 next year is awful compensation. It's not good, man. Hopefully it gets up to that 4th, but what does it tell you, Landon? The NFL didn't value Justin as a starter. He only has 1 year left in his deal, and if teams weren't going to pick up that 5th-year option, then that's where we're at. Oh, next up is Michael Horowitz. Boom! We're still booming in the chat. Michael, you'll get a sticker when I get back to the studios. He says the carousel continues in Chicago. Can't develop a single quarterback. 6 and 7 years. What an absolute travesty. It is a travesty. I think Justin Fields in a better situation could be an established starting quarterback by now. He did not have the fair shake here. It sucks that the Bears now have a pretty good environment for the next quarterback coming in, but you can't go back and change it. You can't go back in time and be like, I wish we would have done this for Justin, that for Justin. You just hope you're setting up Caleb or whoever it is with a better situation. We'll get to Kerry Huss in a second. Sean Harris Williams will be PH 2.0. If not, I'm done with this team. PH. What am I missing here? PH. Someone help me in the chat. What does he mean by PH? PH. Carry us. Boom! A $100 super chat from Kerry Huss. He says, sad, but the right decision, JF1. I agree, Kerry. I would have hoped you could have gotten more, but I think there's something to just giving clarity to all parties. Like maybe if you wait closer to the draft, you get a higher pick, and sure, that would be worth it for the team. But Ryan Poles said he wanted to do right by Justin. Getting him into a new organization now gets him to hit the ground running, can learn the playbook, all that stuff. So, it sucks, but in some regard, you have to turn the page here. Jordan Peacock didn't do right by him at all. I disagree. The Bears finally got weapons and a solid OC and bail on him. What a joke. Fans don't want Williams. They chant for JF. I'd say it's pretty split. I'd say half the fan base was on the Caleb train and half was keep Justin. And look, it's up to you guys how you choose to be as fans. I mean, if you don't want to be Bears fans anymore, that's your call. But I just want to win. And if Caleb flops and Justin Fields becomes a superstar, then, it won't look great for Poles. But I think the opposite would have looked worse. If you kept Fields, passed on Caleb, and he became a star, and you, for 2 years in a row, traded the number one overall pick. I don't think that would have won you over either if you're Ryan Poles. So tough spot for him, but you got to make a decision at some point. Aaron Wolf with the 10, 6th round pick garbage. Yeah, the return isn't great. Hopefully it turns into a 4th. I'm rooting for Justin. I hope he gets that job over Russell Wilson. We'll see how that plays out. TC12, big shame the comp was so low, but hope Justin can prove the league wrong. Let's hope Caleb is set up to succeed. I mean, look, Caleb Williams, there's no excuses. He's going to make rookie mistakes, and there's excuses for that. But, in terms of what's going to be around him, he's got DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, 2 top 15 receivers in this league. He's got a top 5, top 7 tight end in Cole Kmet. DeAndre Swift leads a pretty good running back room with Khalil Herbert in there as well, Roshan Johnson. Darnell Wright is a potential pillar at right tackle. You've got Tevin Jenkins, when healthy, one of the best guards in this league. You've upgraded at center. Braxton Jones is solid at left tackle. If you upgrade in the draft, which could happen, this is a good situation for Caleb Williams to walk into. Certainly a better situation than Justin Fields or even Mitch Trubisky walked into, if we're being completely honest. So trying to hit as many of these super chats as I can. It's a different screen setup for me, so if I miss some, I apologize, but I'm going to try to read them all. Cesar Ramirez, let's all be Bears fans now. I want Super Bowls, not weird loyalty to players. Yeah, look, I'm not going to call anyone out for being super loyal to Justin. I think it's a little bizarre if people choose Justin over the team, but that's their choice of how they want to be a fan. Look, Justin provided hope. He had plays that no one in this city has ever done before, especially at the quarterback position. It was just a little inconsistent, man, and not all his fault. I don't think the infrastructure was good here, but again, I think it will be better for the guy coming in next. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of this whole situation. So, all right, I found a different setup here. Let me see if I missed any super chats here. Emiliano, we read that one earlier. Football's a business. We read that. DDDD, are you ready to be bootlickers to the Pack and Lions? I hope we're beating the Packers and the Lions. That's what I'm hoping for. Let's see here. Zach Stone, appreciate the $1. Pain Train, JF1 was never set up to win. Best of luck to Fields, FGB. I agree. For the most part, that's absolutely true. He came in with Nagy and Pace. They gave him no reps in training camp in the offseason. They throw him into the Wolves. That was not a good situation. That regime gets fired, and then Ryan Poles tears down the roster, which was smart, but obviously wasn't fair for Justin. Luke Getsy and him didn't mesh well. This was the first year in 23 that he had a big-time receiver in DJ Moore. They had a good chemistry, but there was inconsistency elsewhere. I've said it. Justin Fields got screwed, but he got screwed and he's going into year 4 and you still have questions. You can't go back in time. If you're unsure, you got to move on when you have the number 1 pick, and that's what they've done here. Let's see. Azusa the loss with all the actions the Bears have done this offseason. Is it fair to say Caleb will come into the best situation for any Bears QB ever? Yeah, kind of what I was just saying. I think so. You guys name a better situation a quarterback's walked into, especially offensively. And, oh, by the way, this defense is pretty damn good too. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a really good situation. Cyrus, Pittsburgh fleeces Chicago again. Williams, let's roll. I mean, time will tell, right? If Justin Fields becomes a high-level starter, yeah, getting him for a sixth that could turn into a fourth is gonna be good. But like, what other offers were out there, Cyrus? That would be my question. Like, is Ryan Poles turning down second-round picks from other teams? I highly doubt it. Alex, what do you think the Bears are doing with the ninth pick? I still think Neighbors or Odunze could be an option there. I think trading down is a strong option for an edge. Offensive tackles in play. The Keenan Allen move gives them flexibility for sure. They don't have to go receiver. TC12, big shame the comp was low, but let's hope Justin can prove the league wrong. Let's hope Caleb is being set up to succeed. He should be, man. I mean, if it doesn't work with Caleb, that means Caleb's just a flat-out bust, or the Bears did something extraordinarily wrong coaching-wise, because there's enough players here. Fernie knew it after the Keenan trade. Keenan's not a Justin receiver. DJ Moore is. Plus, MHJ was also out the window. Excited for Caleb Williams. Yeah, that felt like a Caleb move. Quick throws, get Keenan in space, slants, drags, curls. Yeah, I agree. Caesar, let's all be Bears fans now. I want Super Bowls, not weird loyalty to players. Yeah, I read that one. Appreciate it. Jordan Peacock, appreciate the 2. MVP, appreciate the 2. He says Fields fans are not Bear fans. Go move to Pitt. I'm not going to go that far. I don't think that's unanimous across the board. I think it's time to unite. This fan base needs to unite. And that's why I am glad Poles is doing this now, because it had gotten too toxic, man. Way too toxic among the fan base. It's time to rally around this team now. And, hey, if we want to debate Caleb versus trading down for Drake or Jaden, I'm up for that discussion. But it's time for Fields to get a fresh start and for the Bears fans to move on to the latest and greatest debate. Shall we? Say it with me. Let's move forward. Welke, 3 years, we still don't know what we had. It's a great point. I think we knew Justin was an excellent runner and a good deep ball thrower, but he doesn't throw with great anticipation. He hesitates at times, takes too many sacks. The fumbling was a problem. So the throwing over the middle never improved at a good enough rate. So, while things around him weren't great, he's got to hold some blame too. Isaiah, should we have gotten more? I don't know. The market's the market. Maybe if they traded him shortly after the season, the value would have been higher, but only Ryan Poles knows that. Only Ryan Poles knows that. I'll be interested to see if there's any leaked reporting about, they had an offer for this a month ago, but haven't seen anything yet. Jordan Peacock, trade back, get Daniels, Odunze, pick up a second rounder. Maybe. I do think there will be chatter of, what if they trade back now and get Daniels or May? I still think the heavy favorite, even more so now, is drafting Caleb at 1, but this is where we sit. Landon Roberts, again, I've said since day one, Fields is one of my favorite players, but people saying they are done with the team over a 3-year player with a terrible record. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think the record is indicative of Fields solely. Like, his second year in particular, it was maybe the worst roster in football. It was a complete teardown, so I'm not going to hold that against him. But, yeah, I mean, ultimately he didn't win enough. He wasn't a good fourth-quarter quarterback, whether you want to blame that on Getsy or Justin or receivers at times. It's a combination, but end of the day, it was time to turn the page. I think that's pretty clear. Aaron Wolf, all in with Caleb Williams, Super Bowl, Bears, still 6th-round pick. Come on, man. Yeah, look, it's not – the headline of 6 that can turn into a 4th max and for next year, it's not great, right? Like, it's not good value. But if there aren't offers, there aren't offers. Do you want to keep him and create an awkward situation with the rookie quarterback? You could do that. But is that doing right by Justin? Ryan Poles said he wanted to do right by Justin, as I tilt my webcam here a bit. So, there's a million ways we can look at it. Creighton with the 20. Appreciate it, brother. He said, I cheered for Justin. I'll cheer for Caleb. Best wishes to Justin. Thanks for the hard work and effort. Welcome to Chicago, Caleb, Bears fan for life. It's a great way of putting it. I will be a huge Justin Fields fan forever. I hope he wins that job. I'm not a Russell Wilson guy, and I hope he leads Pittsburgh to greatness. That's awesome. Unless he's playing the Bears, I'll always cheer for him, but it's time to rally around Caleb or whoever they draft. Dylan Moore, there's no reason at all to be negative toward Caleb Williams. Not his fault. Justin went for low capital, turn the page, and bear down. Exactly. These Caleb attacks have to stop. They just have to stop. Now, if we get a report with clear evidence that he's done this, he's done that, and it's bad on him, okay, fine. But, until that happens, stop tearing down Caleb Williams and attacking his character. Like that, I'm not about that. Sangray Kim, I'm sad I've been right all along. He seems like a good dude, just sucked at quarterbacking. Look, Sangray, I know you and I have gone back and forth for a couple years. Obviously, you're right in the sense that he didn't end up being the guy here. I do think that I will stand by it. I don't think Justin Fields is a bust. If you want to say he's a bust, as in he didn't turn into a franchise quarterback with the team that drafted him, yeah, but he's clearly been the second best quarterback in that draft behind Trevor Lawrence. He was much better than Zach Wilson, who went 9 picks ahead of him. That's a clear bust. Trey Lance, clear bust. Mac Jones had a better rookie year, but Fields clearly elevated much higher than him. So franchise quarterback at this point, no, but flat out bust, and he sucks. He doesn't suck. He's inconsistent, though, and hopefully he can get more consistent. Jacob says, there goes the MF in locker room. Guys, it's March. The season's in September. The guys don't get together for training camp till late July. I know there's OTAs and stuff like that. There will be emotions in the short term. People will be frustrated, I'm sure, but you move on, and they'll rally around the rookie. Obviously, Caleb's going to have to win these guys over, or if it's Drake or Jaden, and those are big shoes to fill because Justin was great in the locker room, and you know what cures all that? Winning. This team starts winning, that side of it's going to go away. Hit that like button if you want to show Justin Fields some love. I know there's some frustration out there, but show JF1 some love. Hit the like button. Hit subscribe. I'm on a mini weekend vacation going live here, bringing you this news. So appreciate everybody tuning in. I've got almost 3,000 live. So if you haven't already, like the video, hit that subscribe button. Peanut says, let me see here. I'm losing my scroll. Hang on. David, Caleb Williams gives me Jamarcus Russell vibes, has potential, but seems really immature. I'll root for him, but hope he's not a bust. I mean, yeah, I think we all hope he's not a bust. I don't think he'll be a bust. I think he's got a huge ceiling. I think his floor is pretty high, too. He's pretty good in the quick game, which should be an upgrade over Justin right away. That was something he never excelled at. And he's got huge potential. It's up to him, these coaches, teammates to help him along the way. So hopefully that happens, man. Hopefully that happens. And the Jamarcus Russell vibes, I could not disagree more. Ray Moreno, Monsters of the Midway. Caleb as a whole, second reaction time better than Fields. Won't hold the ball like a souvenir. Yeah, like I said, I think he'll get the ball out quicker. At times he holds it to play hero ball, and you got to pick your spots there. But you'd rather have someone who can do that and coach it down a little bit than someone who can't. Bug, appreciate the 5. Could the Bears possibly still trade down from 1? Very small chance. If they love Drake May or Jaden Daniels, could they do it? Sure. I don't think so, though. Chastity, I love Justin, but I love the Bears more. I'm happy we finally know. Bear down, FGB. Yeah, it's good to get clarity here. Moz Tanker, I'm happy for Justin. He'll do great in Pittsburgh. Yeah, I hope so, man. Pittsburgh's a classy organization. Mike Tomlin's a great coach. We'll see how he fits with Arthur Smith. That's an interesting angle. The Falcons could have brought Fields into Atlanta, but there was some chatter that Arthur Smith didn't want him when he was there. So we'll see if that meshes well now. Who knows? Michael Ortman, you said at the beginning of the offseason, do not trade to pick. I did say that a while back. I changed my tune on that a little bit as time went on because, A, I thought that would be a good fit for Justin. B, it's to the AFC, so you're not going to have to face him much. And C, now that it's played out in terms of what the value across the league was, I mean, what are they supposed to do, Michael? And when Ryan Poles says, I want to do right by this guy, I think trading him to Pittsburgh is doing right by him. I do. Peanut says, get Drake. Caleb will be a bust. We'll see, Peanut. Luke, I was told by the Fields fans we're trading down. You know what would be kind of funny? If they traded Justin and traded down. So, both sides are like, I told you we were right. Now, they wouldn't necessarily be right if they still took a QB. It would only be right if they took MHJ still, but that's not happening. The Bears don't have a quarterback now. So, I don't think Tyson Bagent or Brett Rippon starting next year. So, they're taking a QB at 1 or at 2 or 3 if they trade down for Jaden or Drake. Tristan, now here come the Fields girls saying they want Jaden Daniels now. Caleb going to turn this franchise around. Look, again, the name calling doesn't need to be necessary. I know both sides have been doing it. Let's rally together. Let's rally together. Sonny777 tells you exactly what the league's evaluation was on Justin. If the rest of the NFL doesn't think he can win, why should we insist on keeping him? Look, it's a great point. I'm higher on Justin than what the value has shown here, but if none of the league agrees, the market's the market, man. You can't snap your finger and force a team to trade you a day 2 pick. It doesn't work that way. Trace Rawls, I'm still concerned as I lost my scroll again here. Hang on a second, Trace. I'll find you. Here you are. Still concerned about Caleb's character flaws, especially his dad acting like LeVar 2.0. Not a fan of May's feet and Daniel's age. I don't know who I want. I want Caleb. I think there's minor things with his dad, but Cliff Kingsbury saying that he only saw him once the entire fall, I think is a positive sign. It sounds like he's more involved in his off-the-field affairs, which obviously can be a distraction. So that stuff you have to vet. But I think when it comes to football, he leaves that to Caleb for the most part, which that's most important. TJ Peck, so hurt from this. I knew it was coming, but man, it hurts. Yeah, man, and that's true. And that's why I'm not sitting here celebrating, man. I like Justin. I wanted so badly for him to be the guy here. And I still think there was a world where that could have happened. I just didn't think it was worth the risk of passing up on the number 1 pick. Not 2 years in a row. I think last year was the right decision to trade out of it. This roster wasn't ready. You needed a receiver. You got DJ Moore. You got Darnell Wright, Tyreek Stevenson out of that trade. In a way, that turned into Keenan Allen too, because it gave you an extra 4th-round pick, which probably made Ryan Poles more willing to trade one of them to get Keenan Allen. But this year, you couldn't do it, man. In my opinion, it was riskier to trade number 1 and pass on Caleb Williams or whoever, but in my opinion, Caleb, and keep Justin. Because if it didn't work out in year 4, A, what are the chances you get number 1 again? B, next year's QB class doesn't look as good. And C, if Caleb balls elsewhere, CJ Stroud last year, Caleb this year, that'd be a tough sell from Ryan Poles to ownership. I think it made sense for him to make this move. Zach, Poles got dunked on by Pittsburgh again. Look, man, if the offers aren't there, the offers aren't there. I'd love to know if Philadelphia made a formal offer. We'll see if we find out on that. Mateo with the 10. Appreciate all the donations, guys. What do you think the Bears will do with the 9th pick? Trade it or use it? And what's your projection for Caleb if we draft him? Look, I'm not going to say he's going to be a 4,000-yard passer as a rookie, but I don't think that's off the table for sure. Well into the 3,000s, I think. And I have playoff expectations next year. If there aren't major injuries on this team, I know the NFC North is tough, but I expect this team to be in the playoffs. I think the defense is top 10, could be top 5 if they get another really good edge rusher, which maybe they go in the draft. They signed Jacob Martin earlier today. He's kind of a rotation guy. You got a playoff defense. You got an offense with playoff pieces. You just need the quarterback and the play caller to come together and these pieces to all mesh. So there you go. Chummy with the 5, classic Bears fans. It's the quarterback's fault, not the organization. I will buy your crappy jersey, cramped seats, and $17 beers. Kind of Overlord's HG flip-flopper. How am I a flip-flopper? I told y'all leading up to the combine I was leading Caleb, but I wanted to wait and see him for myself. Told you after the combine it was Caleb. Not flip-flopping. I still like Justin Fields, by the way, a lot. You don't have to be all in on Caleb and say Justin sucks. I don't feel that way. I just think to have the best chance to win Super Bowls, this is the move to make. That's all. It's not, we don't have to get personal with this stuff. It is what it is. Brett Johnson with the $3. That number 9 pick has to get us some options now. Yeah, look, I think trading down, Adunze or Neighbors if they're there. You could take a tackle. You could take an edge. You got versatility. Thomas Parker, everyone has to realize this is a business, which is what DJ Moore tweeted, by the way. This is a business. Williams or May are the best for the team. Bear down. Let's see here. Tricky. This has been the most toxic debate in Bears history. I'm glad it's over. I was a Fields guy until the last game against Green Bay. I hope him the best, but time to move on. Yeah, you wonder how much that game carried weight in this evaluation. I mean, it was the second time this year he got outplayed by Jordan Love. He lost both times. He never beat Green Bay. I don't think it was like a tiebreaker, but it certainly didn't help. Brendan Henderson, Poles could have kept Fields to the draft or into the season, solidifies he's doing right by players by giving him what he wanted despite a potential loss. Yeah, I mean, look, if you could look into the future and say, oh, I could get a second-round pick around the draft, like, sure. I don't think that would have happened, though. Maybe you get like a fourth or a fifth this year from a team, but I think Poles wanted this done. He said at the Combine, I want this to be done with ASAP. And I think this tells me that they feel good about their evaluations of this rookie draft class, and he moved on. It's kind of that simple. Aaron Wolf, if Malik Neighbors and Rome Odunze are gone at 9, would you draft Brock Bowers or a tackle? I think Bowers is kind of a long shot. Sorry, guys, trying to fix the back here. You know, Bowers on a trade down, maybe, but in general, I doubt it. If Neighbors or Odunze are gone, I would go edge. I would prefer to trade down for an edge. That would be my probably top option if the receivers are gone. But tackle's an option. I wouldn't completely dismiss Bowers, but that's kind of where I'm at. I'll hit a few more super chats, then I want to dive into my reaction of this Justin Fields trade a little bit more. So stay tuned, and we will get this going. Give me a second, guys. Okay, active goal fitness. If we get Caleb, he better help us take us to at least the playoffs with the hype on his ass and the boost on offense we got. Let's go, bear down. I'm a Justin Fields fan. Yeah, I mean, look, I think this team has playoff expectations. If CJ Stroud can take the Texans to the playoffs last year with less around him, I don't see why those expectations shouldn't be placed on Caleb Williams. Fair or not, that's what it is, man. John Ludwig, if Washington offered 236.40 next year's first and second for one, would you accept? That's a lot, man. If your evaluation between Caleb Williams and the next prospect was very close, or even 1A, 1B, yes. If there's a gap in the evaluation, no. For me, there's a gap on the field. I think Caleb's a notch above the other guys. But if Poles feels like it's close and you get just some crazy offer, then yeah, you should at least consider it. Steven, still concerned about not having a lot of picks now. Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing, though, Steven. If you get a good pass rusher and another receiver, what holes do you really have? You get quarterback at 1, let's say you trade down from 9 to like 14, get an edge, get a receiver in the 3rd round. What holes do you have? Like, sure, you're not perfect at every position, but the secondary set, you're set at linebacker. Sure, you could use another defensive tackle or edge. Maybe you add someone in free agency still. Offensive line, you can live with Braxton Jones for another year. You've upgraded at center. You can roll with Nate Davis for another year, whether it's Shelton or Bates at center. The other guy can be the backup interior guy. It's not perfect across the roster, but you don't have any like glaring roster holes if you do that. So there you go. All right, let's see where we're at here. I'm going to read Ben Mueller, and then I'm going to try to react to this in further detail. Ben Mueller says, Caleb or nothing, love you, Fields. Oh, yeah, I'm with you. I would go Caleb, but again, if the evaluation's close and they want to trade, I'll put it this way. If you're picking at 1, I want it to be Caleb. Like, if you're going to take one of the other guys, at least trade down and get something for that first pick. So I think someone would trade up for Caleb. All right, about to get into it. About to get into Justin Fields' trade reaction a little bit further here. All right, signaling my producer who is away from me remotely, who's going to help me out here. Here we go. Let's break down the Justin Fields trade. All right, the Chicago Bears, in breaking news here, have traded Justin Fields. Welcome into Bears Now by Chat Sports. I am Harrison Graham. I am not in our studios in Dallas, Texas. I am not in my hometown of Dallas, or my current residency in Dallas, Texas. I'm out of town, but I'm here live breaking this down, breaking this news to you. So subscribe, support the channel wherever we are. We are breaking down news. Justin Fields to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a 2025 6th-round pick that could turn into a 4th-round pick. My instant reaction is the value's obviously not great, right? I'm not going to jump on Ryan Poles' neck because it kind of seems like the league is just telling you that they didn't view Justin as a starter. Would I have hoped for more? Could you have maybe gotten more closer to the draft? Maybe, but there's no way of knowing that for sure. Could you have gotten more closer to the end of the season? Maybe. I don't know. Only Ryan Poles knows that. But 3 main reactions are that. Number one, the league did not value Justin Fields as a starter. A 6th that can turn into a 4th next year is not starting compensation for a quarterback in this league. That's number one. Now, why is the value down? Well, he's a very unique quarterback. You have to cater your offense to his strengths, something Luke Getsy didn't do enough of. And a lot of coaches and teams, yeah, the good ones tinker their system to the player, but they don't want to overhaul their system to the player. And with Justin Fields, you have to do that to an extent. I think that's why there weren't a lot of teams calling the Ravens last year for Lamar Jackson. I thought that was crazy because that guy had won an MVP and has now won a second one. But I think these specific elite running quarterbacks that have some limitations as a passer, they require some tinkering with the offense. And I think that plays a role. I think what also plays a role is his tape's just inconsistent, man. He doesn't throw with anticipation all the time. He's hesitant to throw over the middle of the field. And while he is a highlight reel, a hell of a leader, a good deep ball thrower, can make all the throws, even though he doesn't all the time, the reality is he's entering the last year of his rookie contract, and teams didn't want to pick up that $25 million rookie contract. So I think teams looked at this and like, well, we don't view him as a starter. We're not going to give you a 2nd-round pick for a guy that at best will come in and compete to start, if not be our backup. So, yeah, the compensation isn't great. It's unfortunate for the Bears. It's unfortunate that A, he didn't work out here at a higher level and isn't this team's franchise quarterback, and B, that they didn't get more from. But at some point, you got to move on, and I'll get to that point in a second. But I do want to give me your one-word reaction to this trade first. What is your one-word reaction to Ryan Poles trading Justin Fields here on March 16th for a 2025 6th-round pick that could turn into a 4th at best? Give me your one-word reaction during this YouTube ad break. Mine is disappointed, but finality at the same time. You had to find a resolution here. And what did Ryan Poles say at the NFL Combine? Whatever we do, I want to do right by Justin. I think once the Pittsburgh Steelers traded Kenny Pickett and only had Russell Wilson on their roster, Pittsburgh became an attractive destination if you're Justin Fields. It sounds like Russell's going to start, but Fields can go in there feeling like he can compete and have a chance, and at worst, be ready if Russ struggles or gets hurt or whatever. That's a stable organization. That's won for a long time. Mike Tomlin has been a big supporter of Justin's for a long time. That I feel like that's doing right by Justin. But at the same time, it's Ryan Poles' job to do right by the Chicago Bears. But I don't think he's sitting there turning down offers for 2nd-round picks. I don't think that's what's happening here. If it leaks out that Ryan Poles turned down a 2nd from like the Raiders and he's like, that organization sucks, I'm going to do right by Justin, and he traded him to Pittsburgh for a 6th, then he should be fucking fired. But I don't think that's the case. I don't think that is the reality of the situation. And that brings me to my second point of this reaction. I think it's clear, has been clear. I've tried to voice that I think it's pretty clear while keeping 1% of my brain open to the idea that they could keep him, even though I thought it was a long shot at best. They have thought they were drafting a quarterback for a while now. I think probably since early February, they've thought that. Justin got better this year, but it was still inconsistent. He missed 4 more games with an injury. The passing game is still inconsistent. I think Luke Getsy deserves a lot of blame, but it's not all on him. Justin has to carry blame as well. The Bears view this opportunity of having the number 1 pick as too good of one to pass up on. And that became my conclusion as well. If the Bears are picking 6th overall, I don't know if this is a discussion. But they have the number 1 pick and access to whatever quarterback they want in a class with 3 really good options, one option in Caleb Williams that I think is a great option. And I think that's the direction they're going to go. Is there going to be some chatter about trading down for Drake May or Jaden Daniels? Sure. But either way, they felt comfortable, even if something goes haywire with the Caleb evaluation, that they have other options in this draft, if that is the direction that they end up going into. And then reaction number 3 is building off of that number 2 point, is they did not want to create the locker room, media, fan chaos that it's already been of having Justin Fields and a rookie quarterback in the same locker room, especially if it's Caleb Williams, who is a polarizing figure. They did not want that. I don't blame them for not wanting that. It's been toxic as hell among the fan base. And that's really my message to all of you, because I know it's been split. I mean, I put polls up on Twitter all the time. I've put them on this channel, in the chat. Who do you want, Caleb or Justin? It's like 50-50 every time. I think we got to be happy for Justin, wish him the best moving forward, but rally around this team. Not even Caleb yet, because we don't know that he's the pick, but around the team. At the end of the day, most of you are diehard Bears fans. At least that's how I view it. So we need to support the Bears and be excited, because the Bears can be really freaking good, guys. They've got DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift, Khalil Herbert, Gerald Everett, Roschon Johnson, a young and talented offensive line. Maybe you add to that. They upgraded at center, a top 10, potentially top 5 defense if they get another good pass rusher. The number 9 pick in the NFL draft. Maybe they get another pick or 2 in this draft if they trade down. This team should have playoff expectations right now. Caleb Williams is or Drake May or whoever, but I think Caleb, we'll see, is walking into a very full cupboard. Is it a Super Bowl roster? I wouldn't say that just yet. Could that be soon? I think it's possible if Caleb hits, that this team could be a Super Bowl contender in 2025 and beyond. This year, let's get to the playoffs first. You can't skip steps in this league. That's pretty rare. But this is tailor-made for a rookie quarterback to walk into and succeed right away. Is that fair to Justin? No, it's not fair. Life isn't fair. You can't go back in time and wish you had better infrastructure around Justin Fields. That's the shitty part about it. But if you're looking ahead, you can look at this and say, oh my God, has a number 1 pick ever walked into a better situation roster-wise? You find one for me. I can't think of one ever. The reason teams are typically picking number 1 is because they suck. This team won 7 games last year, should have won 10 games, and has added to this roster this offseason and still has assets to add to this roster. I mean, you can win right now with the rookie quarterback. CJ Stroud did it with less in the cupboard. There's no reason why Caleb Williams, Drake May, or someone else can't, unless they just flat out suck, or this coaching staff is just an absolute disaster, which, I know there's opinions on Shane Waldron, but at worst, I think he's an upgrade over Luke Getsy. So, I'm excited for that. I feel for Justin because the roster finally feels like it's playoff ready and he's not going to be here, but I still think this was the right move to reset the clock, the talent that you can get with the number 1 pick, with Caleb, all that stuff. I'm excited about it. Who's the Bears' week 1 starter next year? In other words, who are the Bears going to draft at quarterback? I think it'll be Caleb Williams, but if you think it's Drake May, if you think it's Jaden Daniels, go ahead and let me know down in the comments section. And lastly, before I end this little segment here, Brett, if you're watching, we're going to wrap it up soon. Thank you, Justin Fields, because you didn't have the fair shake here. You did get screwed in a lot of ways. This team's lack of success shouldn't fall sorely on or lonely on your shoulders, whatever word you want to use there. Luke Getsy was not a good fit with you. You got drafted into a regime that was halfway fired, basically, Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy, who mismanaged your playing time as well and your reps leading up to the season. And by the time this roster got in shape, this team had to make a tough decision and move on. It's not fair. You did deserve better. But again, from the Bears standpoint, you can't change it. Ryan Poles can't go in his time machine and go back in time and say, yeah, let's rewind 3 years and build better infrastructure. Doesn't work that way. I wish you nothing but the best, Justin, if you're somehow watching this. highlight reel machine that'll live forever among Bears fans. It's tough. It's a bittersweet day. There's no doubt about it. I'm not celebrating it. I'm excited for the future, but I'm not celebrating it because things were mismanaged while you were here. But I think the infrastructure is in place for the next guy. And as Bears fans, that's all we can really hope for. Get the JF1s down in the comments. Show Justin Fields some love. Give him a round of applause. I hope he somehow beats out Russell Wilson and wins that job and becomes great, because I still think he has the talent to do so. So that's what I'm wishing for. Again, be sure to subscribe, turn on the notifications. Justin Fields has been traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, Brett, if you're watching, there's the end of that, or whoever is cutting that up for us. We'll get back to some super chats here as we move forward. John Ludwig, we just read that one, actually. Stephen Kinney, still concerned. We read that one. Ben was the last one we read. So let's go to Wheels 35. Nobody is talking about the fact we kept a failing head coach with a new quarterback. Terrible franchise. Could have had Harbaugh. Look, I disagreed with that move too. I would not have kept Flus. There's small reasons why I understand why they did it. I still wouldn't have done it. But I like the offensive staff they brought in here. I do like where the defense is going, which was a check mark for Flus. And that's why, look, I'm putting playoff expectations. And if it's not reached, we'll see what happens with Flus. I would prefer not to fire a head coach 1 year into a rookie quarterback like the last 2 times this happened. I don't want to repeat history in that regard, but Flus has got to produce. There's no doubt about it. Marty K, Hurts, Tua, and Allen got wide receivers in year 3. Caleb is getting his in year 1. Poles is going to push his development. He definitely cooked this off season. Look, the structure in place is so much better than what Mitch and Justin got. Again, not fair to Mitch, not fair to Justin. Life isn't fair. There's emotions there from me too. But, there is a lot in place for this quarterback to succeed here. Moz Tanker. I was Team JF1, but now it's time to come together around who our next quarterback is. Probably Williams. I'm sure they'll be great, and Poles knows his job. Yeah, look, there's always a crapshoot when it comes to the draft, but I think that's good advice. We need to rally together. This fan base needs to stop being so divided, and let's get excited for the draft. It's coming up. Sam Lecterc, we didn't get any of the capital back that we needed, but Poles still moves back to 2 to 3, gets a package for 1. Now that team's realized Chicago doesn't have a QB, gets Daniels or May. We'll see, Sam. I think there will be some chatter of that. I don't think I would go that route. If I'm Poles, I am only going that route if my evaluation of Daniels and or May is neck and neck with Caleb or higher than Caleb. That's the only way I can do that, because you have the number 1 pick. Don't overthink it. Take the best quarterback. Aaron Wolf, sorry this happened when you're on a vacay. It's all good. I got a supportive wife, and PJ's doing great. So his granddad is here as well. So I'll get over there soon. I'll probably do another 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll call it here. Sunny777, what in the Madden is going on this year? Crazy. A lot of action, man. It's been fun around the NFL. I know this one isn't necessarily fun, but the NFL is king, man. There's always shit going on. Wills 35, kept Eberflus instead of getting Harbaugh. Cycle continues. Terrible franchise. Yeah, you guys know me. I was in on Harbaugh, and, we had a source at Chat Sports that told us, / me, that he would have been interested in coming here, but the Bears chose to keep Flus. So time will tell on if that decision pays off. Appreciate you, someone. Everyone praising Kelsey, but no one wants Bowers. What do you mean? I don't know the praising Kelsey part, but I'm not against Bowers. I like Bowers. I just think you have a good 1-2 punch at tight end. You have bigger needs. That's all. Again, if you trade down and he's by far the best player on your board, take him. I got no issue with that. That's another QB-friendly move, but he wouldn't be at the top of my priority list. Chummy, you blame Lou Getsy rightfully, then you drop Justin for an unproven diva. The org effed over another quarterback. Org is garbage to young quarterbacks. Justin plus Mitch deserve better. I don't disagree with that. I have blamed Getsy a lot, but I've also said that it's not so Fields deserves some blame. It's not like he didn't make any mistakes here. there's plenty of film on it, or there's plenty of reps on his film on tape that someone who doesn't know what they're looking at can look at and say, yeah, that guy was open. He's looking in the area, didn't pull the trigger. There was too much of that. Now, did Getsy play to his strengths nearly enough? No, he didn't. That's why he got fucking fired. Like, he got fired because he didn't do a good job here. But Fields didn't do an A-plus job either. He got better, but that year 3 jump didn't happen. Like, I thought it was better, but it wasn't like wow better. It was, okay, he got better, but I still have questions. So, Ken 1973, Chat Sports Steelers gloating over that. I'm sure they are. I'm sure they're celebrating. Sperry, if you're watching this, you have fun, my friend. You have fun. I'm rooting for Justin, man. I'm rooting for him. Ukraine something. JF had 26% winning percentage. The backups 46%. It's a misleading stat, but yeah, I mean, they didn't win enough. I kind of throw 2022 out the window. That was a lost season, but I hear what you're saying. Jake Cohen, been watching daily since Russ to the Bears trade rumors in 2020. Wow, that's a long time, Jake. Remember those days? Appreciate your unbelievable consistency, Harrison. Appreciate you, Jake. This regime feels different. Love Justin, but excited for the future. I think that's well said. You can love Justin, but be excited for what's next. That's where I'm at. Charles, Poles will trade the first pick and select Bo Nix. If he does that, he should be fired. I will say that right now. He should be fired if he trades one and drafts Bo Nix. Moz Tanker, did you hear Keenan Allen on Masked Singer? He's actually very good. Dude, I did. I looked that clip up. Guy can sing, man. I like Keenan Allen, man. I've always been a fan of his. Great route runner, QB friendly. I think he'll play primarily in the slot, which is where he's played in recent years. He could still play some outside. I'd like to get a big physical outside guy. Like if Adunze's still there at 9, that's going to be tough to pass up. Like I would still heavily consider that. 19F, Ryan Pace whiffed on back-to-back quarterbacks. I wouldn't call Fields a whiff. I think the development was a whiff. I think Justin deserves blame, obviously, like I've said. I wouldn't call it a whiff. He picked him at 11th overall. He was the 4th QB taken in that draft and was the 2nd best QB in that draft. I wouldn't call it a whiff. Trubisky, flat out whiff. I mean, you traded up a spot when you didn't need to. You took the wrong guy, and, you know, that was a complete whiff, and everybody knows that. Tony Stanton, Poles must draft best left tackle at 9, and he must draft Caleb at this point. Don't overthink and do a Trubisky draft again. I would draft Caleb. I don't think left tackle is a must at 9. I think Braxton Jones is above average. I'm open to it if Joe Alt's there. If they want to take Fuaga, those are good players. I think Olu at 9 is a little early. He'd be more of a trade down guy for me. So definitely not opposed to left tackle, not opposed to edge, not opposed to trade down. You got options there. Aaron Wolf, which trade is worse, JF1 or Chase Claypool? Definitely Claypool. Definitely Claypool. Hang on, guys. Claypool one's worse. You gave up what ended up being the 32nd pick for a guy who I don't even know if he's going to be in the league this year. So that was definitely worse. John Dorman, sorry, just joining. DJ pissed off. How will Shane develop Caleb? Let me see if DJ Moore's tweeted more. Let's see. DJ Moore tweeted, business is business. I mean, look, he's been a supporter of Justin, and is anyone – why would we be surprised by that? DJ Moore had the best year of his career with Justin. He's been through a shuffling of quarterbacks year after year, and Justin's a likable guy and was a great leader and teammate. That's why a lot of these guys went to bat for him. Ryan Poles has to take the emotion out of it. That's his job as general manager. Someone says this should be a celebration, feels like a funeral. It's bittersweet. Like, I'm excited for the future. I've been excited, but I'm not going to celebrate Justin Fields getting out of here either. It's a great dude. Good. I still think a good player. There's a lot of emotions involved here, man. A lot of emotions. Jugga Lotus, dedicated, going live. Appreciate it. I'm going to wrap it up soon. Go meet up with the fam. Said, I get Fields had a bad situation. I feel for him, but it's what we needed. Hope we finally get a franchise QB for the first time. Yeah, man. I think that's well said. That's well said. Daily basis, to be frank, we never really made it seem like we weren't going to draft Caleb once we clinched 1-1. So we lost leverage. Justin Fields has a better chance at Pittsburgh than Chicago. I do think that's something that's been clear, too, is the Bears kind of lost leverage. I don't think there's anything they did wrong, but the entire league knew they were drafting a quarterback. So, like, why are they going to help the Bears out by overpaying? Especially if they don't think Justin's a starter, which, again, I disagree with. I think he is, but it's a good point. Elijah, $10, appreciate it. He says, to me, it's obvious that we're drafting Williams, but do you think Caleb can get us over the hump over the Packers? I love Fields, but Love did show him up. Yeah, it's a good question. Packers are a good team. Lions are a good team. Bears matched up well with the Lions last year. Outplayed them for 7 out of 8 quarters. Packers have been a nuisance. Hopefully Caleb Williams can come in here if he's the pick and help get this team over that hurdle. They've lost 18 out of 20 to the Packers. It's Coda. I get the hate. The city has never seen a QB in Chicago with near the potential Fields had. As an organization, Bears hold on to QBs for too long for loyalty. Oh, Geezer Kieran, Bajent's number 1 until draft. Gonna make competition. Yeah, until the draft. I like Bajent. Developmental backup. He proved last year that he's not going to be overwhelmed if he has to play, but he's not going to be this team starter. Whoever the Bears draft will start, barring something unforeseen. So that's where it is at this point in time. Let me see here a little bit. All right. Gonna wrap it up soon unless any more super chats come in. I can read some non-super chats for a few minutes. Someone says breaking news, cry Eagles cry. Why? Because they didn't get Justin. I'm gonna run through Twitter, make sure I didn't miss anything here when it comes to this. Let's see. Yes, Isaiah Thomas back in the NBA with the Phoenix Suns. Let's see. Jordan Schultz says the belief in Pittsburgh is that they have 2 starters with both Fields and Wilson. Fresh start for Justin Fields, who's in Milan right now, by the way. I love Italy. I was there a year and a half ago. Great time. Oh, Justin Fields tweeted out. He said, can't say thank you enough to the city of Chicago for taking me in and embracing me. Thank you to the entire Bears organization and ownership for allowing me the opportunity to be part of such a historic franchise. But most of all, thank you to all my brothers I played with. You were all the reason I attacked each day the way I did. I can't thank you all for enough for what you have meant to me over the last 3 years through the ups and downs. I wish you all, each one of you, nothing but success, ready for the next chapter. Classy fucking guy, man. Tweeting this out. What a good dude, man. When they drafted this guy, I so badly wanted him to be the franchise guy. And I think with better structure, he could have been. And that's what sucks about it. That really is what sucks because, I mean, to be frank, you want to blame somebody more than anybody else, blame the fucking McCaskies. The fact that they let Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy return after 2020 and draft this guy when they had no fucking plan of what to do with him, it's just a joke, man. And then Ryan Poles has to clean up this roster mess that Ryan Pace has left. I mean, that part of it really does suck, man. Now, who knows what Justin Fields could have become with better structure? I'm not sitting here and saying they missed out on the next, Hall of Fame quarterback, but it sucks, man. It absolutely sucks. But it was still the right move. You got to take the emotions out of it, and it's time to move forward. It's time to move forward. It's time for me to sign off too. I got family to attend to. Been live for an hour. Appreciate you guys very much for hanging with us. Justin Fields, I'm wishing you the best if you're watching this. Get excited, though, Bears fans. Get excited, Bears fans. Good days are ahead. I know there's emotions here. It's bittersweet, but better days are ahead, I believe. There's a lot of reasons to be excited. Bear down, FGB. Let's go. Let's rally around this team. Let's come together as a fan base, and let's wish Justin Fields the best. I'm signing off. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for everybody lighting up the chat, the likes, those who donated, just being here, and we'll see you next time. Bear down.